What was supposed to be the next big thing, but totally flopped. Google Glass. 3D TV. Google Plus was supposed to be the answer to Facebook. From what I've gathered in this thread, Google threw a lot of shit to see if it would stickle Mayo. Not entirely relevant. But I like the trend where everybody wanted the smallest cell phone possible. For 20 years cell phones got smaller and smaller, often being the main selling point of the phone. Then all of a sudden you couldn't watch videos on your phone. And almost overnight the trend reversed to larger is better. Google Wave. It was supposed to replace email with a more collaborative approach. Essentially it was like a dynamically created discussion board you'd share with select people, and you could have a more readable discussion than one with a bunch of forwards and CCs and the like. I thought it was a good idea. But it flopped big time and Google got rid of it after a few years. Airship Travel. These were the next awesome way to travel long distances. In fact, the spire on top of the Empire State Building was meant as an anchoring point for airships. The Hindenburg kind of put a damper on it, though. The Segway. It was supposed to change the way everyone lived. The invention of the century or something like that. A really big deal. Segways were supposed to revolutionize travel and replace the automobile. Now they are just used for guided tours for dorks and tourist traps. That fake fat they put in chips in the 90s that made everyone poop their pants. Edit. Thanks for the silver. Obligatory. Of course my top comment is Ray. Anal leakage. The Dark Universe Cinematic Universe. Starting with 2017's The Mummy. https://www. imdb.com title TT 2,345,759. The Panama Papers. Edit. Since I have your attention, I'd like to direct you to Isage's response. Here. https://www. Reddit. AskReddit comments Mer 1 page 5 GV9 I103. Xbox Kinect. Movie Pass. Hoverboards? I remember in a span of 3 months everyone had them and showed them off and then they just disappeared. Edit. After further investigation I discovered they were banned in my province a number of years ago. Mini disc. At the time video calling with your phone completely flopped because 3G couldn't support it. There was so much advertising about this thing that was meant to be huge, but the tech really didn't work yet. But it did blow up later on with 4G. Better phones, Wi-Fi and more public spaces. HD DVD. Still remember half the movies being blue and the others red. My friend who studies medicine had to install Second Life about 2 years ago for a class meeting. I don't get why they couldn't have used Skype, but okay. Our and micro consoles in general. Connie 2012. Asbestos. Technically it was a hit. Right until it flopped when people figured out the whole inhaling rock fibers is not healthy thing. Demo. Windows phones. Microsoft was so confident they would bury the competition that they had a weird funeral procession for the iPhone. https://www. businessnsider.com Microsoft iPhone Funeral 2010-9. Soap shoes. These were like normal shoes, but you could grind on rails with them via an indent in the sole. If you heard of these things from somewhere that wasn't Sonic Adventure 2, please tell me where. And please tell me where I can buy a pair. Johnny Manziel. Amazon's shopping buttons. They pushed really hard for those and I never saw the point. That streaming service that lasted like 2 months. Quappy I think. Even bad timing aside, a mobile-based streaming service at a time when no one could really leave their house, the marketing was just horrible. I saw ads for it for nearly a week before I realized it was a new video streaming service. And by that point was so annoyed by the ads untrusting everything I didn't care at all. Just out of spite. Also I mean it was just YouTube you have to pay for and got worse content. Edit, it was Quibi. It made so little impact I couldn't recall at first. Not sure if this one has totally flopped yet. But I noticed while in Costco the other day that there are no longer any curved TVs. If Costco is no longer carrying them, then I think we can assume they're going the way of the dodo. Star Wars: The Old Republic was supposed to be the World of Warcraft killer. It was honestly a good game. But they botched it on launch by having too many servers, leaving them all feeling vastly underpopulated, making what little endgame content there was worthless since you couldn't find groups to do it with. Edit, lot of responses saying a lot of games market themselves as the WoW killer. This is true. But a lot of the hype wasn't coming from the marketing in this case. It was actually coming from players participating in the beta. And rightfully so, because the early game is solid and there was a good population on the beta server. Man, I remember as a kid seeing the Ninja Turtles and Dick Tracy use videocoms and thinking it was so cool and wanting one for myself, and now if someone FaceTimes me I have a panic attack. Dippin' Dots. And X200B. Been the ice cream of the future for 40 years now it seems. And X200B. Edit, I also love Dippin' Dots, who doesn't? But when you've been claiming your product is the future for nearly half a century. When is the future? Laser discs the size of records. McDonald's pizza. Quibi. Sega's Dreamcast. Elizabeth Holmes. Quadraphonic entertainment systems in the early 1970s were supposed to replace stereophonic systems. Now they are chiefly remembered for inspiring the name of The Who's second rock opera. You guys remember the Fire Festival disaster? New Coke. Smart diapers. I'm pretty sure Pampers sells them, but imagine it won't be long before they are discontinued. It's an idea that's been posted on mommy blogs, childcare forums, magazines, news articles. Every so often I'll see a story online while doing some childcare research. I don't know a single parent, nanny, early childhood educator, caregiver that has or wants to use a smart diaper. The only way I could see it being useful is for night or for a special needs child. The idea is still being pushed as a luxury item for millennials, but it's just nonsense. What's even funnier is that the tech is almost backwards. Cloth diapering has become insanely popular. The Area 51 raid. Vine 2. The murder hornets, everybody just kinda forgot about them. 3D TV. I had a friend in high school who was preparing to go to film school. She swore up and down that 3D TV was the way of the future, and one day all movies and TV shows would be in 3D. The European Super League. The US version of coupling. It was peddled hard by NBC to be the next Friends when that show ended. If I recall correctly, there was interviews with the cast and they were already musing about the show going into multiple seasons. There was big buzz since it was such a hit in the UK. It lasted 4 episodes. Paperless office. Over and over again. Our managers reminded us that we are working in a paperless office environment. Never happened in my very large company. I have not heard paperless office in years now. We work, we live. A classic case of something that was a good idea and actually at the right time, but was made to flop by being run into the ground by an unbalanced leader who was right about the ideas being timely and useful, but completely overselling it and taking a bunch of salivating venture capitalists down a primrose path. It also didn't help that so much of it was really a sham and almost a Ponzi scheme. It's not always about being the wrong idea or even the right idea at the wrong time. Sometimes it's just led by the wrong person. Soda freakin' roadways. Jar Marcus Russell. Heroes. Whatever happened to those curved televisions? I remember seeing one on an advert a few years back but haven't seen or heard about them since. The Wii U. Second Life. In the beginning, companies even bought real estate in there to allow people to visit them. The Virtual Boy. The 2010 live-action Avatar, The Last Airbender movie. Mixer. Microsoft's Twitch. Failed spectacularly. Crystal Pepsi. New Coke. Orange juice and toothpaste flavored Lay's potato chips. Edit for correct Pepsi variant. Betamax. Advanced photo system. Meant to mitigate some issues of traditional analog cameras, it had enough problems of its own that it could have likely failed anyway. But starting it at a time when digital cameras already improved sealed its fate. Might be showing my age, but Zima.